The clock is ticking, and it's not slowing down for anyone. Not for you, not for me, not for the richest person on earth, and certainly not for the laziest person either. So here's a question that'll shake you to your core. What are you doing with your time? We've all been given this incredible gift called life. It's like a blank canvas waiting for us to paint our masterpiece. Some of us are just staring at that canvas, paintbrush in hand, too lazy to make the first stroke. And let me tell you, that's a tragedy of the highest order. Now I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself on your deathbed looking back on your life. Will you smile, knowing you have lived to your fullest potential? Or will you be filled with regret, wishing you had just a little more time to do all the things you were too lazy to do? It's a sobering thought, is not it? But you are not on that deathbed yet. You are here, alive, breathing, with the power to make a change, and that change starts now. It starts with killing that laziness that's been holding you back. Your laziness is like a disease. It starts small, almost unnoticeable. Maybe you put off doing the dishes one night, then you skip your workout because you are too tired. Before you know it, you are trapped in a cycle of procrastination and unfulfilled potential. But unlike a real disease, the cure for laziness is entirely in your hands. Let me share a little secret with you. Success is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's not about having the most talent or the best opportunities. No, success is about outworking everybody else. It's about being willing to do what others won't. It's about killing that lazy voice in your head that says, I will do it tomorrow. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, but I'm not lazy. I'm just unmotivated. Well, let me tell you something. Motivation is a myth. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. But discipline is what gets you out of bed at 5 a.m. when every fiber of your being is screaming to hit the snooze button. Do you think successful people always feel motivated? Do you think they wake up every morning bursting with energy and excitement? Of course not. They have the same doubts, the same fears, the same lazy urges as everyone else. The difference is, they've trained themselves to act despite those feelings. You see, action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait until you feel motivated to start working. You start working, and then the motivation follows. It's like jumping into a cold pool. The hardest part is taking that first plunge. But once you're in, you adjust, and before you know it, you are swimming laps. Excuses. Oh, we all love our excuses, don't we? I'm too tired. I don't have enough time. I'm not talented enough. The conditions aren't right. Let me tell you something. Excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. Every time you make an excuse, you are essentially giving yourself permission to fail. You are telling yourself it's okay to be mediocre. And let me tell you, mediocrity is a dangerous place to be. It's comfortable, sure, but it's also where dreams go to die. So from this moment on, I want you to make a pact with yourself. No more excuses, none, zero, zil. When you feel an excuse bubbling up, I want you to squash it like a bug. Replace it with this phrase, I can do better. Because you can. You absolutely can. Goals are the antidote to laziness. They give you direction, purpose, something to strive for. Your goals need to scare you a little bit. If your goals don't make you a bit uncomfortable, they are not big enough. Comfort is the enemy of growth. When you are comfortable, you are not pushing yourself. You are not expanding your limits. You are just existing, and existing is not enough. You were born to thrive, to achieve, to leave your mark on this world. So, I want you to set some audacious goals. Goals that make your palms sweat when you think about them. Goals that make you think, can I really do that? And then I want you to work towards those goals with everything you have got. But here's the important part. Don't just set the goal and forget about it. Break it down into smaller, actionable steps. What can you do today, right now, to move closer to that goal? Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Your job is to keep taking those steps day after day, regardless of how you feel. Failure. Oh, how we love to avoid failure. We would rather not try at all than risk failing. But let me tell you something. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is your teacher. It's your guide. It's the chisel that shapes you into the success you are meant to be. Think about a baby learning to walk. That baby is going to fall down. A lot. But does the baby think, well, I have fallen 10 times now. Guess walking is not for me. I will just crawl for the rest of my life. Of course not. The baby keeps trying, keeps falling, keeps getting back up until walking becomes second nature. That's the attitude you need to adopt. Embrace failure, learn from it, and most importantly, don't let it stop you, because the only real failure in life is the failure to try. Something that's absolutely crucial if you want to kill laziness, your environment. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So let me ask you, who are those 5 people for you? Are they ambitious go-getters who inspire you to be better? Or are they couch potatoes who are content with mediocrity? If it's the latter, it's time for a change. Now, I'm not saying you should ditch all your friends, but you need to start seeking out people who will challenge you, who will push you to be better. Join a mastermind group, attend seminars. Surround yourself with success, and I promise you, it'll start rubbing off on you. And while we're talking about environment, your physical space. Is your workspace cluttered and chaotic? Clear it up. Is your home filled with distractions? Minimize them. Your external environment has a huge impact on your internal state. So create an environment that fosters productivity and focus. Now, let's address a common excuse. I hear all the time, I don't have enough time. Let me tell you something. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The difference is how we choose to use them. Successful people don't have more time. They just manage it better. So here's what I want you to do. For the next week, I want you to track how you spend every hour of your day. And I mean every hour. You will probably be shocked at how much time you are wasting on things that don't matter. Watching TV, scrolling through social media, hitting the snooze button, these are all thieves of time. Once you've done this audit, start ruthlessly eliminating time wasters. Replace them with productive activities. Read a book instead of watching TV. Learn a new skill instead of scrolling through social media. Wake up early and exercise instead of hitting snooze. Remember, time is the most precious resource you have. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. So use it wisely. Something that's often overlooked when it comes to productivity. Your health, your body is the vehicle that carries you through life. If that vehicle is not well maintained, it's going to break down. And when it breaks down, all your plans and goals go out the window. So take care of yourself. Eat well. Exercise regularly. Get enough sleep. These aren't luxuries. They are necessities. When you are in good health, you have more energy, more focus, more drive. You are better equipped to tackle laziness and push through obstacles. And speaking of obstacles, let's address a big one. Procrastination. Oh, procrastination, that sly devil. It whispers in your ear, you can do it later. There's plenty of time. But let me tell you something. Later is a dangerous word. Later often becomes never. So here's a little trick to beat procrastination. The 5-second rule. When you know you need to do something, count backward from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move. This little trick bypasses the overthinking that often leads to procrastination. Another powerful tool against procrastination is the concept of eating the frog. This means tackling your most challenging or least appealing task first thing in the morning. Once you have done this, everything else will seem easier in comparison. Plus, you will have a sense of accomplishment that will carry you through the rest of the day. Something that might seem counterintuitive when we are discussing killing laziness. The importance of rest. Yes, you heard me right. Rest is crucial. But I'm not talking about lazy. unproductive rest. I'm talking about strategic, rejuvenating rest. Your mind and body need time to recover and recharge. If you are constantly pushing without ever taking a break, you will burn out. And burnout is just another form of laziness. It's your body and mind forcing you to rest because you didn't do it voluntarily. So schedule time for rest, but make it purposeful. Maybe it's meditation or a hobby you enjoy or quality time with loved ones. Whatever it is, make sure it truly rejuvenates you. Because when you come back from this rest, you should feel energized and ready to tackle your goals with renewed vigor. Let's circle back to something I mentioned earlier. Discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It's what gets you to do what you need to do, even when you don't feel like doing it. And here's the thing about discipline. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So how do you build discipline? You start small. Maybe you commit to making your bed every morning or doing 5 push-ups a day. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you do it consistently. Over time, as your disciplined muscle gets stronger, you can take on bigger challenges. Now, I want to address something that might be holding some of you back. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is often disguised as a virtue, but let me tell you, it's just another form of laziness. It's an excuse not to start, not to finish, not to put your work out. Remember this, done is better than perfect. Perfect is the enemy of good. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop trying to make everything flawless. Start, do, improve as you go along. Because a flawed start is infinitely better than a perfect plan that never sees the light of day. Another powerful tool in your arsenal against laziness, the power of habits. You see, our lives are essentially the sum of our habits. The small things we do consistently shape who we are and what we achieve. So, if you want to kill laziness, you need to cultivate productive habits. Start your day early, read regularly, exercise consistently. These habits over time will transform your life. But here's the key. You need to stick with them long enough for them to become automatic. They say it takes about 21 days to form a new habit, but I say don't focus on the number. Just commit to doing it every day no matter what, until it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Because once these productive habits are ingrained, they'll carry you forward even on days when your motivation is low. Something that's become increasingly relevant in our modern world. The distraction of technology. Don't get me wrong, technology is a wonderful tool, but it's also one of the biggest thieves of time and focus if not managed properly. How many times have you picked up your phone to do one quick thing, only to find yourself scrolling mindlessly an hour later? How often do you let notifications interrupt your workflow? These small distractions add up, and before you know it, they've eaten away a significant chunk of your productive time. So, here's what I want you to do. Set boundaries with your technology. Maybe it's turning off notifications during work hours, or having a phone rule during meals. Whatever it is, take control of your technology instead of letting it control you. Something that's crucial in your journey to kill laziness, accountability. You see, it's easy to break promises to yourself, but it's much harder to let other people down. So find an accountability partner, someone who shares your drive, your ambition. Share your goals with them, check in regularly, and hold each other accountable. This accountability can be a powerful motivator. When you know someone is expecting you to follow through, you are much more likely to do so. It adds an extra layer of commitment to your goals. Now, I don't want to address something that might be a bit uncomfortable. The company you keep. Remember when I said you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? Well, it's time to take a hard look at those people. Are they pushing you to be better? Or are they enabling your laziness? Do they celebrate your successes? Or do they try to drag you down to their level? It's a tough pill to swallow. But sometimes, to move forward, you need to leave some people behind. This doesn't mean you have to cut people out of your life entirely. But you might need to limit your time with those who don't support your growth. Instead, seek out people who inspire you, who challenge you, who make you want to be better, something that's often overlooked when it comes to productivity. The power of saying no. Every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. And if you are saying yes to things that don't align with your goals, you are essentially saying no to your dreams. So learn to say no. No to time-wasting activities. No to projects that don't serve your purpose. No to people who drain your energy. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but remember, every no to something insignificant is a yes to something important. Now, let's address a common pitfall, the comparison trap. In this age of social media, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And let me tell you, that's a surefire way to kill your motivation and feed your laziness. Remember this, the only person you should be competing against is the person you were yesterday. Focus on your own growth, your own progress. Because at the end of the day, that's the only comparison that truly matters. Continuous learning. The world is changing at a rapid pace, and if you are not growing, you are falling behind. So make learning a lifelong habit. Read books, attend seminars, take online courses, seek out mentors. The more you learn, the more you will realize how much there is to know. And this realization is a powerful antidote to laziness. Because when you are excited about learning and growing, you are much less likely to succumb to lazy habits. Now, I want to address something that might be holding some of you back. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown. Fear can be paralyzing. It can keep you stuck in your comfort zone, feeding your laziness. But here's the thing about fear. It's often just false evidence appearing real. Most of the things we fear never actually happen. And even if they do, we are usually much more capable of handling them than we give ourselves credit for. So I want you to start seeing fear as a compass. When you feel fear, that's often a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Embrace it. Use it as fuel. Because on the other side of fear is where the magic happens. If you want to kill laziness and achieve your goals, taking massive action, you see, it's not enough to just have goals. It's not enough to just have a plan. You need to take action. And not just any action, massive action. I'm talking about the kind of action that makes people around you think you have lost your mind. The kind of action that pushes you way out of your comfort zone. Because here's the truth. Extraordinary results require extraordinary efforts. If you want to lose weight, doing one push-up a day is not going to cut it. You need to overhaul your diet, hit the gym regularly, and make significant lifestyle changes. That's massive action. If you want to start a successful business, writing a business plan and stopping there is not enough. You need to network, secure funding, build a product, market it relentlessly, and be prepared to work 80-hour weeks if necessary. That's massive action. Now I can already hear some of you thinking, but that sounds exhausting. And you are right, it is. But let me ask you, this more exhausting, pushing yourself to achieve your dreams or spending the rest of your life wondering what if. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. So choose your pain. Choose the pain of discipline, of massive action, over the pain of regret. And here's the beautiful thing about massive action. It creates momentum. It's like pushing a heavy boulder down a hill. At first, it takes everything you have got just to get it moving. But once it starts rolling, it picks up speed on its own. That's what massive action does for your goals. It creates a momentum that carries you forward even when your initial burst of motivation fades. And before you know it, you are achieving things you never thought possible. Now, let's talk about something that goes hand in hand with massive action. Consistency. It's not just about taking big actions occasionally. It's about taking consistent actions every single day. Success is not about intensity. It's about consistency. It's not about running a marathon once. It's about jogging a mile every day. It's not about pulling an all-nighter to finish a project. It's about putting in focused work every single day. Think about building a house. You don't just show up one day, work for 24 hours straight, and expect to have a finished house. No, you show up every day, lay one brick at a time, and eventually you have a beautiful home. That's how you should approach your goals. Show up every day. Do the work. Lay your bricks. Even if you can only dedicate 30 minutes a day to your goal, those 30 minutes done consistently will yield far greater results than sporadic bursts of intense work. Now, I want to address something that often gets in the way of consistency: the desire for instant gratification. We live in a world of instant everything, instant messages, instant food, instant entertainment. And this has conditioned us to expect instant results in everything we do. But let me tell you something. Real, lasting success doesn't happen overnight. It's not about instant gratification. It's about delayed gratification. It's about being willing to sacrifice what you want now for what you want most. You think about a farmer. When a farmer plants a seed, does he dig it up every day to see if it's growing? Of course not. He knows that growth happens underground, out of sight. He trusts the process. He waters the seed, tends to the soil, and waits patiently for the harvest. That's the mindset you need to adopt. Trust the process. Do the work consistently, even when you can't see immediate results. Because I promise you, if you keep at it, your harvest will come. Self-belief. You can convince anyone else to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself. And I'm not talking about some vague, wishy-washy kind of belief. I'm talking about a deep, unshakable conviction in your abilities and your potential. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if I'm not that talented? What if I'm not that smart? Let me tell you something. Talent and intelligence are overrated. What really matters is your willingness to work, to learn, to adapt, and to persist. Look at any successful person, and I guarantee you will find someone who believed in themselves when no one else did. Someone who kept going when everyone else said it was impossible. That's the power of self-belief. But here's the thing about self-belief. It's not something you were born with, something you cultivate. It's like a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. So how do you strengthen your self-belief? Start by setting small, achievable goals and then crushing them. Each time you set a goal and achieve it, you are proving to yourself that you are capable. You are building evidence of your own competence. Next, surround yourself with positivity. Read books that inspire you. Listen to motivational speeches. Spend time with people who believe in you. Because here's the truth. You become what you constantly expose yourself to. And perhaps most importantly, start talking to yourself differently. The conversation you have with yourself is the most important conversation you will ever have. So make it a good one. Replace self-doubt with self-encouragement. Replace I can't with I can and I will. Now let's address something that often holds people back. The fear of criticism. You see, when you start taking massive action towards your goals, when you start believing in yourself and standing out from the crowd, you are going to face criticism. It's inevitable. But here's the thing about criticism. It's often a sign that you are doing something right. If you are not being criticized, you're probably not doing anything significant. As the saying goes, if you want to avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. So instead of fearing criticism, learn to welcome it. See it as a sign that you are making waves, that you are pushing boundaries. And remember, not all criticism is created equal. Learn to differentiate between constructive criticism that can help you grow and baseless negativity that you need to ignore. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with distractions. Social media, emails, notifications, they are all vying for our attention. And in this sea of distractions, the ability to focus has become a superpower. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, results show. So if you want to achieve extraordinary results, you need to cultivate extraordinary focus. Think about sunlight. On a normal day, sunlight is warm and pleasant, but when you focus it through a magnifying glass, it becomes intense enough to start a fire. That's what focus does to your efforts. It intensifies them, making them powerful enough to ignite your dream. So how do you develop this level of focus? Start by identifying your most important task for each day. This is the one task that, if accomplished, would move you significantly closer to your goals. Then tackle this task first thing in the morning when your energy and willpower are at their peak. Next, practice the art of single tasking. Despite what some might claim, multitasking is a myth. Your brain can't actually focus on multiple things at once. It just switches rapidly between tasks, which is incredibly inefficient. So give your full attention to one task at a time. You will be amazed at how much more you can accomplish. And finally, learn to say no. Remember, every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to everything else you could be doing with that time. So be selective. Say yes only to the things that align with your goals and values. The importance of rest and recovery. In our hustle culture, we often glorify the idea of working 24/7, of grinding nonstop. But let me tell you something. That's a recipe for burnout, not success. If you were to go to the gym and work out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, would you get stronger? Of course not. You'd break down. Your muscles need time to recover and grow between workouts. And your mind is no different. Proper rest and recovery are not signs of weakness. They are essential components of peak performance. They allow you to recharge your batteries, consolidate what you have learned, and come back stronger. So, build rest into your routine. Get enough sleep. And I'm talking about quality sleep, not just hours in bed. Take regular breaks throughout your workday to maintain peak focus. And don't feel guilty about taking a day off now and then. Remember, it's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. Adaptability, the only constant in life is change. The world is evolving at an unprecedented rate, and what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. So if you want to stay ahead of the game, you need to be adaptable. You need to be willing to learn, unlearn, and relearn. You need to be open to new ideas, new technologies, new ways of doing things. Think about some of the most successful companies in the world. They didn't get to where they are by stubbornly sticking to old ways. They got there by constantly innovating, by being willing to disrupt themselves before someone else did. And the same principle applies to your personal success. Don't get too comfortable with your current knowledge or skills. Always be learning, always be growing. Because in a rapidly changing world, if you are not growing, you are dying. Now I want to address something that's often misunderstood. The role of failure in success. You see, we live in a society that's obsessed with success stories. We love hearing about overnight successes, about people who seem to go from zero to hero in no time. Those stories are myths. Behind every success story is a long list of failures, setbacks, and obstacles overcome. Success is not about avoiding failure. It's about learning how to fail forward. Think about it this way. Every time you fail, you are actually succeeding at eliminating one way that doesn't work. You are gaining valuable experience and knowledge that will inform your future attempts. So don't fear failure. Embrace it, learn from it, use it as fuel to drive you forward. Because the only real failure in life is the failure to try. If you want to achieve extraordinary success, the power of your network, you have probably heard the saying, your network is your net worth. And let me tell you, it's absolutely true. No one succeeds in isolation. Behind every successful person is a network of mentors, peers, and supporters who've played a role in their journey. So if you want to elevate your success, you need to elevate your network. Start by seeking out mentors, people who have already achieved what you are striving for. Learn from their experiences, their successes, and yes, even their failures. A good mentor can help you avoid pitfalls and accelerate your progress. Next, surround yourself with peers who share your drive and ambition. Jim Rohn famously said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose wisely. Seek out relationships that challenge you, inspire you, and push you to be better. And finally, never underestimate the power of giving. The strongest networks are built on mutual benefit. So always be asking yourself, how can I add value to others? Because the more value you give, the more value you will receive in return. Now, as we wrap up this talk, I want to leave you with one final thought. Success, true success, is not just about achieving your goals. It's about who you become in the process of achieving those goals. The greatest reward success is not the material things you accumulate. It's not the accolades or the recognition. The greatest reward is the person you become. Someone who's disciplined, focused, resilient. Someone who doesn't make excuses, who takes massive action, who persists in the face of obstacles. So as you go forward from here, remember this: every day, with every choice you make, you are shaping your character. You are either feeding your laziness or killing it. You are either moving closer to your goals or further away from them. The choice is yours. And I hope you will choose to kill that laziness, to do the work, to become the best version of yourself, because you have incredible potential within you. And the world is waiting for you to realize it. Thank you.